Hey everyone, JRO Lights here, and calling all Zippo collectors and enthusiasts because on July 14th and 15th of 2023, collectors are having their third annual Lighter Palooza in Bradford, Pennsylvania. A highlight of my last year was being able to go to Bradford, Pennsylvania, and I had no idea what to expect. So in this video, I'm going to share with you some things to expect when you visit Bradford, Pennsylvania, specifically in a couple of weeks when you go to Lighterpalooza 3. Make sure to like and subscribe. Welcome to JRO Lights. Last year was a blast. My wife and I flew into Buffalo, New York. We went to Niagara Falls and other attractions. And then we drove to Bradford, Pennsylvania, about an hour and a half, and it was beautiful. I kind of felt like I was back in Mississippi, but there were mountains. The people of Bradford, Pennsylvania are wonderful. They're amazing. They love Zippo, and they are so proud of their community. So let's start with Lighterpalooza 3, which is sponsored by Riley 66 and Widowmakers Lighters. And there are two individuals who have a passion for Zippo, and they love to see the collector community thrive. The first thing to expect when you walk through the doors of the Masonic Lodge, be prepared to be overwhelmed. When I went, I told fellow collectors that I would keep an eye out on specific Zippos for them. I broke that promise. As soon as I walked in, I was completely overwhelmed with thousands of Zippos. I could barely keep track for myself, let alone someone else. And it took me about 3 or 4 times to walk around all the vendors before I could really process what I was looking at. I mean, there are about 25 vendors and they are selling 150 plus Zippos per table. And the Zippos range from newer models to vintage models. The prices, for the most part, are fairly reasonable. You do have some vendors that have better deals than others. There are some vendors that may be a little bit over market value. But if you plan on going to purchase a lot of Zippos, remember, cash is king. There are some vendors that may accept PayPal or Cash App or Venmo, but for the most part, everyone accepts cash. I don't really recall anyone accepting debit or credit card. So just make sure, I can't stress enough, have cash. But also, don't be afraid to bargain. Some vendors are firm on their prices because they're already reasonably priced, but there are some vendors that are a lot more flexible when it comes to their pricings. I love bartering. I love the art of a deal. That's always fun to do. But just be mindful, there are some that have firm prices, but there are some that are more flexible on their prices. Make sure you eat a good breakfast. It's an extremely long day, and I don't even remember having lunch when I went because it is from about 10 to 5. So if you plan on being there for most of the day, it's good to start off with a full stomach or at least have some snacks readily available. Since it is a long day, it's also good to just take a break. It's extremely overwhelming, and there are plenty of places to go in Bradford, Pennsylvania. You can go to the Zippo Case Museum, check out the corporate office. You can check out small businesses on Main Street. If you want to take a little drive, you can go to Salamanca Antique Stores. There are things to do in Bradford, Pennsylvania, and it's great to take a break from the overwhelming sense of looking at 2,000 to 3,000 Zippos in just a couple hours. If you are traveling by airplane, make sure you come with extra space in your luggage. Last year, I went to Bradford with about 20 Zippos to sell and trade, and I came back with about 80 Zippos and plenty of signs and goodies and even a VHS tape. My suitcase was packed. I had no more space, so make sure you come with plenty of extra space. And if you are flying, check out the video in the description below about carrying a Zippo on an airplane. One thing I'm thankful I did before going out to Bradford was meeting fellow collectors online, having conversations about Zippo, getting to know them a little better. Primarily it was through Facebook groups. like Zippo Addicts or Lighters Keepers, a Zippo collector group. Those are some great ways to meet collectors. And when we met in Bradford, it was a lot less awkward. I'm not an extrovert by any means. I like to sit back, observe, but because I knew several individuals just through chatting online, it made the experience so much more enjoyable. Now, if you don't have a Facebook or if you don't chat with anyone online prior to going to Bradford, that's okay because the vibe there between collectors is amazing. Make sure you bring your everyday carry too, because that's a great way to start a conversation, great way to meet other collectors is introduce them to your everyday carry and just talk about your Zippo story. Or if you just want to look at Zippos and not talk to anybody, more power to you. It's a fantastic environment either way. Also, a way to get to know your fellow collector is on Friday the 14th. There's a gathering at the Italian Club where we just hang out, have a few drinks, get to know each other a little better. On the 15th, there is a dinner. There are some reservation deadlines to meet. So if you want to know more about that, check the description down below. And last year when I went to Bradford, they were having their 90th anniversary. It was a fantastic event. Really enjoyed it. And it's a little different this year because the Lighterpalooza is held at a Masonic Lodge about 3 minutes away. And then on that Saturday, Bradford will be having a Made in Bradford event. So you're going to have to go between the Masonic Lodge and the Zippo Case Museum for both of these events. So just make sure you plan ahead a little when it comes to trying to balance your time between both places. But there's plenty of time during the day to go to both. And also, if you plan on visiting the Zippo Case Museum on that Saturday, it might be a little bit more crowded than usual. So if you're able to go on Friday, I'd recommend that. You can also walk through that museum on Saturday, but if you want to take your time and have less people there, I definitely recommend that you go on Friday. And I'm sure on Saturday at the Made in Bradford event, Zippo's going to have plenty of activities. They're going to have some vendors and other products that are made in Bradford. So I look forward to really experiencing that and see what that is all about. But most of all, one thing I enjoy is just winging it. I love traveling. I love going to these places and just learning as I go. But sometimes it's also good to know what to expect. So I hope this video was helpful, especially if you're going to Bradford in a couple of weeks. And if you are, let me know in the comments. I'd love to meet you. I'd love to see you there. Make sure to like and subscribe. This is JRO Lights. We'll see you on the next one.